speaking about a shuffle, big blow for the Kiwis. I tell you what, it's a hard time of year, isn't it? It's been a long season for these players, and Jahrome Hughes is out. Kiwi's statement: Hughes had been troubled by a neck injury, but it was hoped he would recover to be involved in the Kiwis test. But after further medical assessment, a devastated Hughes has been told he won't be fit to play. Hughes' replacement will be named soon. Stacey Jones on the loss of Hughes. He's the new coach. He said Jarome's understandably shattered, and we really feel for him. He was desperate to play, and we thought with some time on our side, he would come right with the treatment, but he has since received medical advice that he won't be ready to play. So there's a big out for the Kiwis. However, veteran halfback Shaun Johnson is now returning to the international arena for the first time in 5 years after being brought in to replace Jahrome Hughes for the New Zealand Kiwis Pacific Champions campaign. He's 34 now. Johnson retired after 268 games in the National Rugby League. And this was said also by Stacey. He said, on top of all other withdrawals, it has been a big setback to lose Jahrome, but has now turned into a real positive with Shaun deciding to step in. He originally said he wouldn't be available after announcing his retirement from the NRL, but with Jahrome Hughes being ruled out, Shaun didn't hesitate when asked to help out his country. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Just looking now, so this is a predicted or potential spine for the Kiwis. Keanu Kinney at fullback, Cody Nikorima and Shaun Johnson in the halves, Phoenix Crossland at hooker.
Right.
Heavy.
Yeah. Who's the back line that they're predicting?
Well, Will Warbrick and Osako on the wings, Timoko and Chance Nickel-Clockstad in the centres.
Yeah, well, you never know. This time of year, too, it's hard. These are some of the players who...
It's hard to get excited about this. Do we have the rights? Are we broadcasting? No? All right, let's put the boot into it. Hard to get excited about when those lineups are being named. Like, there's quite a few players in that New Zealand team that struggle to make first grade at their respective clubs.
Yeah, fair. Well, Peter Hiku's back in the squad.
Yeah.
I think you'll find. Ronaldo Militalo, Dylan Brown, Kieran Foran, Mosley Oda, Brandon Smith, Jeremy Marshall-King, Britt Nakora, Kaliro, Tamari Martin.
Basically their entire side.
Yeah, all out. Kiwis also missing. Nelson Asofa Solomona, Joey Manu heading to Union. And, well, there you go there. Liam Martin, though, he's out for the Kangaroos. So the Penrith forward, the Clive Churchill medalist, has carried shoulder and rib injuries in recent weeks. While he was initially named in the Kangaroo squad, he'll now be replaced by Raiders star Hudson Young, who comes into the side. This one here, Tyran Wishart comes into the Prime Minister's 13 squad for Young. So obviously Hudson Young leaves the Prime Minister's 13. He goes into the Kangaroos. Tyran Wishart now has got to pack up his bags and get himself to Port Moresby. 12 tries from 26 appearances in his third season of the National Rugby League. Played almost half the game too in the grand final. Here's what he had to say on his performances this year as he caught up with Jimmy Smith here at SEN.
I think there was just a bit more opportunity this year. Obviously under some pretty bad circumstances with injuries and everything, but Munster had his groin issues, and another one of our halfbacks, Jonah, got injured with a knee injury through the year. So I think there was just a lot more opportunities, and I was able to find my feet a bit more than the previous years, I think.
Tell you what, he makes a point there, and so without that happening, he's clearly a first grader, a very good first grader, but they had banked on Jonah Pezet, who he refers to in that clip with Jimmy, and, of course, Munster. So he got his opportunity, but he just took with both hands, didn't he?
Killed it. He would be a great pickup for any side. It's hard to see how they could keep him there purely on a impact bench player role. I guess that's becoming more important now. But Jonah Pezet, he's the forgotten man as well.
Yeah.
I'd completely forgotten. He was touted as the next
ACL,
big
wasn't
thing.
it?
Yeah, early
Yeah.
in the year. Wonder if any clubs are having a look at Jonah, because if Tyran Wishart is your backup half, then Jonah, free to look elsewhere, surely.
I think his old man's an agent too, so if there's anyone shopping around, it could be his dad. Tonga's first foray into the Pacific Championships, Adam Fanua-Blake. So they're going to be pumped up. I wouldn't be sleeping on this team. Adam Fanua-Blake and Jason Taumalo, co-captains. Dolphins playmaker Isaiah Katoa is set to play in the halves with Huddersfield's Tui Lolohea, who's the only member of the squad returning from Super League. The pair will play behind a powerful pack. Taumalolo, Fanua-Blake, Keon Kalamatangi, Hamoli Olakawatu, Eli Katoa. He was good in the grand final, wasn't he?
That's an epic pack.
Yep.
That's the best pack out of all the international squads.
Felice Kafusi, Paul Alamotti, Lee Hopewadi, I should say, also been selected in the squad. Jarome Luai, named of captain of Samoa. West Tigers bound Luai will cap off a big season. He's had a great season with big names still to come. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Jeremiah Nye in switching allegiances as well. So,
Jeremiah. Well, that's probably because he didn't get picked, Jeremiah. But who are they going to play? Samoa.
So I think, and the boys might correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think
England.
Is it not the best of three? You play each other. Is it straight to a final? Can you win through from? Is there a semi-final? So the winner of this does not go. That they cannot meet Australia, Tonga, and New Zealand. Is that right? No.
They're just doing their own thing. They're just doing their own thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're doing their own thing.
That's weird.
Okay. Investigation launched into Dalian medalist Olivia Kernick's Jillaroos snub. David Riccio writes in the Daily Telegraph, it's believed that some members of the ARLC have been left bemused as to how the Roosters premiership winner was overlooked for the Jillaroos squad. So an incumbent player started for New South Wales, 2 tries in the grand final, big case to win the Karen Murphy medal, won the Dally M medal, and for some reason has been dropped. Here's what Millie Boyle and Keely Davis had to say on the Upfront podcast.
You know what? It was sad, and I know what I need to work on. And I was with my teammates, and I actually enjoyed the rest of the day. Disappointed for myself, but so happy for the girls, and I can't wait to cheer them on.
Okay, so that was the voice of Olivia Kernick. She was on the Upfront podcast with Millie Boyle and Keely Davis. And this is what Vossi and Brandy have had to say so far on the situation, talking about Brad Donald's reason for omitting Olivia Kernick.
Brad, one of his excuses was that she started on the bench through Origin, which was sort of a bit strange, maybe because Mal used Origin to explain James Tedesco and Dylan Edwards.
Yep.
He thought he'd throw that line in about Olivia Kernick. Kernick started all 3 games anyway.
Give me the bell. Ding, ding, ding. That is 100% correct. That's a really bad blue.
Hang on, but tell us why the mistake has been made.
Game 1, Game 2, she is in jumper 15. She was selected on the bench. She started both of them and then started the 3rd game as well. She started all 3 games of the series.
Don't tell me Brad Donald didn't watch the Origin games and he's the Australian coach.
Well,
tell me that didn't happen.
That is
Perfect timing, Chuck.
That is, bloody hell, that's a scandal. Like, that's seriously bad.
Okay, so this is where I think
The boys are off the bit.
they're off the bit. They're off the bit. So Brad Donald clearly is going to be a little bit under the pump throughout this, or maybe it doesn't bother him. I don't know. But if they go back to the Karen Murphy medalist votes, and if Brad has not put Olivia Kernick in the 3-2 or 1 or however they vote it, then I think the heat increases. So that's
What do you mean by that?
Well, I believe there's 3 people involved, including the Australian coach. Same applies to the men's when it comes to selecting the Clive Churchill medal, or in the case of the NRLW, the Karen Murphy medal.
Oh, gotcha.
So I believe there's some kind of voting system. I don't know if it's 3-2-1 or whatever the case may be. But if she was clearly in the top 3 players, I think anyone who watched that game would all agree she was in the top 3.
2 tries, didn't she? One of them was basically the match sealer.
Yes, clearly in the top 3 players. So I think it would be fascinating if the ARLC, well, it sounds like that's what's going to happen, if they investigate it and who left her out of the voting, I think, which may not be Brad, it may be 2 of the others who I don't know who those 2 are, then I think those people will be heavily under the spotlight. But we'll see.
What's Brad Donald's background?
For Brad's sake, I hope he's got her in amongst the votes.
Is Brad a Queenslander?
I believe so. I do believe so. He's been up the Gold Coast for a while, and I don't know, Missile, to be honest with you. But have you say the Cyclone Tools call line 1300 01 1170, the right tool for the job. New Zealand listeners, of course, easy text for you, 8833 is the way for you to do that. It's the Run Home with Joel and the Missile today for Hyundai Tucson. Keep in touch with us right after this.